Some stories are hidden in the shadows. Welcome to DarkLens.
Deep beneath the ground, inside a nest hidden in complete darkness, a baby bird is born. Minutes later, it begins attacking. Not predators, not insects, its own brothers and sisters. And somehow, nature designed it for exactly that purpose. When we think of baby birds, we imagine helpless chicks waiting for their parents to bring food. It's one of nature's most familiar scenes. Tiny mouths open wide, parents working tirelessly, a family struggling together to survive. But in some nests, that family is a lie. Across the world, certain birds have abandoned parenting altogether. Instead of building nests and raising their own young, they use a strategy so ruthless that it sounds more like a crime than a survival tactic. They're called brood parasites. These birds lay their eggs in the nests of other species and leave the hard work to unsuspecting foster parents. The victims spend weeks feeding and protecting a chick that isn't even their own. At first, this might sound like simple deception, a clever shortcut, but some brood parasites take things much further, much darker. Because for one bird, living in Africa, survival doesn't begin with begging for food. It begins with murder. And the killer is still covered in eggshell. In the grasslands and forests of sub-Saharan Africa lives a bird called the honeyguide. At first glance, it doesn't look dangerous. It's small, quiet, almost ordinary. But the honeyguide's entire life depends on a brutal secret. When breeding season arrives, the female honeyguide searches for the nests of other birds. Many of her favorite victims build their nests deep inside underground tunnels or hidden cavities where almost no light can reach. Once she finds the perfect target, she waits. Then, when the owners are away, she slips inside. The entire operation may take only a few moments. She lays a single egg among the host's eggs, but she doesn't stop there. Before leaving, she often punctures or damages some of the other eggs, a silent act of sabotage. The host birds return home completely unaware that an intruder has just changed the future of their family. Yet the honeyguide has one more advantage. Its egg is already ahead. The embryo develops longer inside the mother's body before the egg is laid. As a result, the honeyguide chick hatches earlier than the host's chicks, sometimes by an entire day. In the wild, a single day can change everything. And for the chicks about to hatch beside it, that day becomes a death sentence. Most baby birds enter the world helpless, blind, weak, completely dependent on adults. Honeyguides are different. The moment scientists looked closely at newly hatched chicks, they discovered something shocking. Attached to the tip of the chick's bill were tiny hook-like structures, sharp, curved, and perfectly suited for gripping flesh. These strange hooks don't exist in adult honeyguides. They're temporary. They appear only during the stage when the chick shares the nest with its foster siblings. It's as if evolution created a specialized weapon and then removed the evidence later. For years, nobody knew exactly how these hooks were used. The nests were too deep and too dark to observe. The killings happened underground, hidden from human eyes. Then, researchers placed cameras inside nests. What they recorded was astonishing. As soon as host chicks hatched, the honeyguide began attacking. It bit them, shook them violently, dragged them across the nest chamber, again and again. The attacks were relentless. The victims couldn't escape. They couldn't fight back. Many suffered fatal injuries after only a few minutes of assault. Some lingered for hours before finally dying. The Honeyguide chick continued attacking until every rival was gone, one by one. The darkness became a battlefield, and only one chick remained alive: the killer. The most tragic part of this story isn't the violence, it's the ignorance. The foster parents have no idea what's happening. Remember, these nests are often buried inside tunnels. The adults arrive, carrying food. They stretch their heads into the entrance. They hear begging sounds. Then they feed whichever chick appears hungry. They cannot see the attacks. They cannot see the wounds. They cannot understand why their own babies are disappearing. While one chick is being bitten to death in the darkness, the foster parents may already be searching for the next meal, working harder than ever, trying to save a family that no longer exists. Scientists have observed cases where parents continued feeding the Honeyguide even while injured host chicks lay dying nearby. The adults simply followed their instincts: feed the chick, protect the nest, care for the young. But every act of love was being directed toward the wrong bird. The Honeyguide didn't just steal a home, it stole the parents themselves. For nearly a month, the foster birds devote their lives to raising the imposter. They bring food, defend the nest, risk their lives for it, never realizing that the chick they're protecting murdered their entire brood. And then, something even stranger happens. As the Honeyguide grows older, the deadly hooks disappear. They fall away. The weapons vanish. The evidence is gone. By the time the bird leaves the nest, it looks like an ordinary young bird. No scars, no signs, no indication of what happened underground. Nature has erased the fingerprints. If the Honeyguide is nature's assassin, the great spotted cuckoo is nature's crime boss. This bird uses a different strategy. Instead of attacking chicks directly, it manipulates parents through fear. The great spotted cuckoo lays its eggs inside the nests of magpies. Sometimes, the magpies recognize the foreign egg and throw it out. That should solve the problem. But for the cuckoo, rejection is unacceptable. Researchers studying these birds discovered something extraordinary. When magpies removed cuckoo eggs, their nests were often destroyed soon afterward. Eggs broken, nests damaged, entire breeding attempts wiped out. The message was clear: raise my chick or lose everything. Scientists began referring to this behavior as a form of avian mafia strategy. The comparison wasn't just dramatic, it fits surprisingly well. The cuckoo benefits when hosts learn that resistance has consequences. A magpie that loses its nest must start over, build again, lay new eggs, create another opportunity for cuckoos to strike. Over time, some magpies appear to accept the cuckoo's presence simply because rejecting it is too costly. Imagine feeding the child of an intruder because you're afraid of what happens if you don't. That's the world these birds live in. A world where fear becomes a parenting strategy. Across North America, another brood parasite runs a remarkably similar operation: the brown-headed cowbird. Like the cuckoo, the cowbird lays its eggs in the nests of other birds. And like the cuckoo, it doesn't always respond kindly to rejection. Studies involving warblers revealed a disturbing pattern. Nests that rejected cowbird eggs were far more likely to be attacked afterward. Eggs disappeared, nestlings died, entire nests were destroyed. But the cowbird doesn't stop there. Sometimes it destroys nests that are already too far along for successful parasitism. Why? Because the victims will build another nest, and the cowbird gets another chance. Scientists sometimes describe this as nest farming. The cowbird is essentially creating future opportunities by forcing host birds to start over. Unlike the honeyguide, cowbird chicks don't usually kill their nestmates directly. Instead, they dominate through sheer demand. They grow larger, beg louder, consume more food. Slowly, the host chicks fall behind. In difficult conditions, some starve. The result is often the same: one foreign chick thriving while the rightful family pays the price. But perhaps the most unbelievable trick belongs to the common cuckoo. After eliminating competition, a cuckoo chick faces a problem. It is alone. One chick, one mouth. Yet somehow, it needs enough food to grow into a bird much larger than its foster parents. The solution sounds almost impossible. The chick cheats. Not with violence, not with threats, with sound. Researchers discovered that a lone cuckoo chick produces begging calls that resemble an entire brood of hungry chicks. To foster parents, it doesn't sound like one baby, it sounds like many. The adults hear what seems to be a chorus of desperate mouths demanding food, so they respond accordingly. More trips, more insects, more effort. Experiments showed that these calls could dramatically increase feeding rates. The cuckoo had found a way to hack the instincts of its foster parents. It creates an illusion, a fake family, and the parents spend weeks exhausting themselves to feed children that don't exist. It's one of the most sophisticated deceptions in the natural world. A single bird pretending to be an entire nest. When people imagine nature, they often picture balance, harmony, a peaceful system where every creature plays its role. But hidden beneath that image is another reality, a world of manipulation, deception, and survival at any cost. The honeyguide chick that murders its nestmates, the cuckoo that punishes resistance, the cowbird that destroys nests to create new victims, the chick that pretends to be an entire family. None of them are evil. None of them understand cruelty. They're simply following strategies written into their biology over millions of years. Yet that may be the most unsettling truth of all. Because somewhere in Africa tonight, deep inside a tunnel, buried beneath the earth, a tiny egg is cracking open, and a killer is being born.